Hello and welcome back to the Conscious Buzz podcast. If you're new here, hi, my name is B, and today we are recording from the rim of Canyonlands National Park. Now, I have been traveling on the road for on and off about 3 years now, and oftentimes I'm recording in beautiful places like this. And I just recently discovered that I can record my podcasts in both audio and video mode. So, what I'm doing today is I came out here and I knew I wanted to record a podcast. It's been gloomy, cloudy, rainy, and snowy here in the desert, and today was a nice sunny day, so I knew I was going to want to do my morning hot girl walk, and then I wanted to come out here and chat with you guys. And this is my first podcast video. So, if you're watching, thank you so much for watching. And if you're listening, thank you so much for listening. I am recording this podcast specifically because I was going to respond to a TikTok comment. And as I was getting into writing all the things for this TikTok content, I then realized, wait, this should be a podcast. Like, this is so many good little tidbits of information that if someone else is having this issue, maybe it will work for them. And what this issue is I was talking about grounding. Now, spring is coming, it's almost here. We can see it, we can feel it, we can taste it, we can almost touch it on certain days. So I'm from Florida, and I posted a video right before Florida hit its fall. It was like the end of summer, and there was like an end of summer fair, a fall fair, whatever you want to call it, and I was just feeling really overwhelmed, a little bit drained. There were lots of children everywhere. It was kind of chaotic. So, for a moment, while I was maneuvering around this basically childhood giant playground and feeling my energy drain from me, I knew I needed to recharge for a minute because I was with my best friend and her kids, which feel like my kids. And I'm Auntie B, and Auntie B is the cool aunt. She's the grounded aunt. And so to be the grounded aunt, I need to be grounded. And so I took a moment and I sat in the grass while one of the kids were playing, and I had the other one in the stroller next to me. And I sit down and I put my feet on the ground, and I'm like, oh, like I should make a cute little video letting people know that you can ground wherever you want. You don't have to ground in a sacred space. Like, yes, obviously grounding in sacred spaces happen, but if you want to ground literally anywhere, you can. And society has made it so weird, us wearing shoes. Like, the fact that we have to wear shoes all the time, and if you're not wearing shoes, it's like, ew, weird, what are you doing? What are you doing? Right? And so for me, I was like, there's grass everywhere and there's children running barefoot. Just because I'm quote unquote an adult now doesn't mean that I don't like, just because I'm a quote unquote adult doesn't mean that I can't take my shoes off and ground for a second. And so I went in and I made a little video and I was just talking about grounding and earthing and all the things. And I've made a podcast on this before. And I believe it's like Earthing Grounding 101 or something. And someone came and commented on that video and said that they would love to do that and they would love to ground themselves, but they're allergic to grass. And I was like, okay, well, there's so many other different ways that you can ground. And I started going into them. And I made a list on my phone, so I will be referencing my phone just to keep my thoughts in order. Grounding is something that you can do in so many different ways. And maybe we don't know this because maybe the easiest and most convenient one is taking your shoes off and just walking barefoot on the earth, right? Well, there's a bunch more, so let's get into them. Today's episode is different ways to ground that aren't grass and earth, because those are the main ones that are talked about. Now, the first one that came to mind, I'm a Pisces, and the first one that came to mind is water grounding. Now, there's a couple different ways that you can do this. My favorite is submerging myself into a body of water, but you can walk on the sand and walk on the shoreline of a beach, of a river, of a lake, whatever body of water that you have close to you, taking your feet off and walking on the earth. the water is being charged by the earth's energy, which is creating grounding energy. So sometimes when I'm in the ocean or in a lake or in a pond, I basically feel like my whole aura is getting cleansed because I'm submerging myself into water, and that water is cleaning all of the excess gunk out of my aura and grounding me, not just from my feet, but throughout my whole body. So personally, I prefer water grounding. Like, I see a body of water and I'm like, I need to jump in it. Since I've been a little girl, you can ask my best friend Mason, for as long as I've been around, every time we walk by a fountain, I'm like, I want to submerge myself in that. And oftentimes it's maybe because we were just doing something chaotic. We were at a fair, we were downtown, we were doing whatever. It's a late night, it's 2 a.m. I have a bunch of energies and I need to cleanse. I see that and I'm like, oh my God, it's calling to me. But preferably, you'd want a natural source of water. I just love water. There's early stories my mom has of me seeing a fountain of water and stripping completely naked in public and jumping into it. So this is just something that's always been around for me. Water grounding is one of my favorites. Now, let's say you don't have a body of water. Let's say it's winter. Let's say, conditions aren't ideal to get you to a water source. You can also take a mindful shower or mindful bath. Now, this is a energetic hygiene practice that I love to utilize because I'm constantly taking showers or baths. Not right now during van life, but obviously I'm still showering. And when I take a shower, this is the oldest practice that I've ever this is one of the oldest practices that I love to utilize, okay? And that is when I'm taking a shower, I close my eyes and I envision the water pouring over me. And essentially, what I'll do is I will bring all of the excess energy, the energy that does not serve me, other people's energy that I'm holding on to, and I'll bring it to my aura's surface. And when I'm bringing it to my aura's surface and then I'm showering, I'm picturing my aura like a dusty gray. And as the water's pouring onto me, that dusty gray starts to run off my body and down into the drain. And it's cleaning my aura. You can do this with a shower. You can also do this with a bath. For me, I prefer like a little rinse before I jump in the bath, just because I just feel like whatever is directly on my skin, I'll be sitting in it in the bathtub. So that's just like my personal preference. I just like to rinse off in the bath. Sometimes I'll have the bath water running, rinse myself off, fill it up, then get in. And you can utilize herbs, you can utilize crystals, you can utilize smoke, any type of intention. You can take the energy and imbue it and create your own little bath potion. Yes, bath potions. I like to put herbs and oatmeal and maybe some essential oils, but mostly herbs, because if you get fresh enough herbs, then it'll have natural oils that you'll be able to smell. But you can add a little essential oil to elevate the experience. Okay. On top of water grounding, I'm trying to go through all of the elements. That was like what I was doing. I was like, okay, well, if you can't touch grass because you're allergic to grass, you can touch water. You shouldn't be allergic to water. You should not be allergic to water. Tree grounding. Tree grounding is awesome. Since I was a little girl, before the age of technology, the drawings and some of the books that my mom had, there would always be someone touching a tree. And then you may have seen this before, but it's like an energy. I'll put up a picture to help you guys understand a little bit better. But sitting or touching a tree, you can kind of see the cycle of energy on how you are connecting with that tree. So like hugging a tree, touching a tree, sitting with your back against a tree. These are going to be ways that you're going to be able to ground yourself with the earth energy. And a lot of people don't realize it, but the wisdom, peace that you can receive from a tree is insane. Because trees have been here, they have seen the land shift, they've seen the weather change, they've seen generations of things passing by. The wisdom that trees hold is so magnificent. And you can learn a lot from them. So, tree grounding, placing your hands or back against a tree and visualize your energy sinking with its roots. tree grounding. Another thing I learned was, you know how you can like pick up a crystal and you can like feel its energy and you can absorb its energy and you can meditate with its energy? Take that same understanding and correlate it to natural things. Now, let me give you some examples. You can hold rocks, you can hold crystals, you can hold clay, you can hold wood. And what I like to do is I like to notice the temperature and the texture, because when I hold a crystal, the crystal is normally cold and ready to share its energy with you. But if I've had it charging in the sun with solar energy, or I go and touch the rocks that I'm sitting on, they're cold to the touch, but as the day grows and the sun shines on them longer, the warmer they get, the more solar energy they're holding. And that's where the term like lizarding comes in. Like you can come and like lizard on a rock or, lizard on the sand, and anything natural is going to have a grounded charge to it. And you could utilize that for yourself in grounding. Okay, another one that I absolutely love. Let me know if you resonate or if this is something that you also do. So, ever since I was a little girl, I always loved making potions. I would play with mud and herbs and water, and I would make like mud pies and mud drinks and just mud pastries and delicacies and food, and I would just imbue my essence into it, and the touching of the water and the clay and the mixing. And this can also go with gardening, with making pottery, doing something, touching an earth element with your hands is so grounding for the nervous system, because not only are you utilizing creative energy, you're also tapping in and absorbing natural energies to help fuel that creativity. So you're being creative, which already expression is the opposite of depression. Boom, number one. Number two, you are connecting with the earth and its energy and utilizing it to ground your body and your nervous system, making you a more well-rounded, peaceful, happy human. So I like to try and do a little bit of everything. Obviously, gardening. I use garden gloves to the least of my abilities. Like if I am not dealing with a cactus or a plant that stings me or, has like bugs in its soil, like a detrimental, like has, you know, I don't know if you're a plant person, but if you are, like mealy bugs, things like that, if that's on the plant, I'll probably be wearing pants or like scabies. But other than that, I try and do all of my gardening activities with my bare hands. Will it get dirt under my nails? Yes. But does that add character? Also, yes. Because it's like, oh, your nails are so dirty. And it's like, yeah, because I was literally tending to my garden all day. What do you mean? Okay, now we're going to talk about one that I don't think a lot of people know about. And it was actually news to me when I learned about it. I think I learned it maybe like 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. Someone mentioned it to me, or I read it or saw it somewhere. And I was like, no freaking way. I had no idea. Now, when you have concrete and you are walking on the sidewalk, or let's say you're in some place like, for example, Las Vegas. I was there and I needed to do some grounding. You can walk on concrete or stone or rock and ground yourself. But the one that is not conducive to grounding and does not have conductive energy is asphalt. So the black asphalt that cars drive on is not going to be grounding. It neutralizes it. But regular sidewalk, concrete, stone, things like that are conductive with grounding. I had no idea. So when I would walk my dogs, instead of putting on shoes, I'd be like, well, let's just walk barefoot. Let's just walk barefoot. And that was something that was so game-changing and was a really cool fact to learn, was that the sidewalks that we have can help aid in grounding. Now, the next two are going to be less touching of the earth, the water, the earth, clay, dirt, mud, concrete, rock, grass, obviously. The next one that is a form of grounding your energy is going to be movement, because when you move your body, you move out stagnant energy. You're shifting out the energy that does not serve you. So things like walking, running, jogging can be forms of grounding. What makes it grounding is the intention behind it. So while running can release endorphins and it can do all these things while moving your body, and it's very good to move out stagnant energy, when you're wanting to ground, doing it slow, intentional, and deep. Yoga, stretching. Hello. Thank you for chiming in. I appreciate your input, truly. So when you're doing yoga, when you're dancing, when you're stretching, letting your body connect with rhythm and breath is going to be a way to regulate and rest and ground your nervous system. Another one that I've never done personally, but I've done something similar, which is weighted grounding. And you may have heard this with weighted blankets, with weighted stuffed animals, putting something heavy on your chest to help you feel the pressure in a good way, and it regulates your nervous system. I've never used a weighted blanket, but I do have a weighted dinosaur that I love, and he's very comfy and he sits on me and he makes me feel very good and I love him. Or another version of weighted grounding besides a weighted stuffy or a weighted blanket is laying crystals along your chakras and letting your chakras take the energy that they need and letting the crystals lay and ground and harmonize your body's frequency. And the last way of grounding, which is so beautiful and is so incredible and doesn't require you to touch anything, to walk anywhere, to do anything with your body. It just requires you to sit and listen. And that is going to be sound grounding. So things like drumming, singing bowls, chimes. You can also utilize your own voice, like humming or chanting Om in a meditation. These are all beautiful ways that you can ground yourself, and all ways that you can ground yourself without grass. So even if you're allergic to grass, you no longer have an excuse to say, I can't partake or participate in grounding activities because I'm allergic to grass, because there are so many different ways that you can do it, and your body and your nervous system will thank you. So while those days are getting warmer, start experimenting with different forms of grounding. See which one you really resonate with. Notice how your body feels after, and you will be pulled to the one that is best suited for your human vessel. And when you learn which grounding technique is best for you, it's going to be less of like a chore, sometimes for me, brushing my teeth feels like a chore, but the aftermath of what my teeth feel like afterwards is so good. Sometimes I dread doing a morning hike with my dog every single day, doing a mile or so. Normally way more. Do I dread it? Sometimes. But after I'm done, I feel so good. I feel so recharged. I feel so motivated. And so taking this same understanding and applying it to like going to work. Do I want to go to work? No. Do I like my paycheck? Yes, right? So applying that to your human body, like sometimes eating can be a chore. Going to the bathroom can be a chore when you're having a really good time and you're like, frick, I have to go potty. Or, gosh, I'm having such a good time, or I'm really in the flow state, but now I need to go eat. The same way that you would prioritize those needs, do the same with your energy. Do the same with your nervous system. And this is all about balance. Like, obviously, there's going to be times where you're ungrounded. Obviously, there's going to be times where you can't make that happen because of life, circumstances, sickness, whatever it may be. But by prioritizing it and adding it to your Rolodex of knowledge, figuring out what suits your body best, what recharges you to the fullest, is going to help you follow your dreams, hit your goals, and just become the best version of yourself. But to do that, you have to take care of this human vessel, because if you don't eat, you're gonna die. If you don't bathe, you're gonna stink. If you don't prioritize and take care of yourself, you're not gonna glow. But that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me in this beautiful, beautiful national park for today's podcast. There is so much coming to you guys this summer. I am extremely, extremely excited. I cannot wait to show you everything and take you along for the journey. If you haven't already, be sure to follow this channel. Go check out my YouTube at the Community Beehive. It's also the same on Instagram and TikTok, but I'm going to be traveling all over the West Coast, or all over the West, sorry, because we're in Utah right now. There's hikes, there are incredible views, and also really grounding lessons that are going to be coming to you every single week. And I am so happy to be here. Make sure to stay locked in with the podcast for more spiritual, woo-woo, conscious conversations, and check out my YouTube channel if you guys want to come along and see more gorgeous views like this. And if you have any topics that you would like for me to talk about in future episodes, do not be shy. Leave a comment below. I love to hear from you guys. I love to see what you guys are looking forward to, what you guys are wanting, and I'm so grateful for you being here. Thank you so much, and we will be talking super soon.